Good afternoon, good morning, wherever this finds you. Just want to give a quick intro to FPL Roulette. My name's Nick, this is
Raza.
Just want to give you a quick overview of why we started this. As avid FPL players, we talk about it on the gym, we talk about it at football, we talk about it over text, over WhatsApp. And I think this is the natural progression for where our league has come to. Aptly named FPL Roulette, and I think it's been going about a decade, would you say?
Yeah, maybe longer.
Yeah, so we're obviously chasing that goal of a higher game week and overall ranking. Trying hard, maybe failing miserably. I don't know about you, but certainly on my part I am. And yeah, we're just going to talk through the whole reason why we're doing this is to talk about the things that we talk about normally, shed a bit of light on them, and build a bit of a community within our mini league. We review the last game week. Do you want to take it? There's obviously been a lot that's gone on, some trials and tribulations within our league. Do you want to take it from Tuesday night, Raz?
Yeah, sure. So we've got Brighton and Bournemouth to start with, a 2-1 win for Brighton.
Bournemouth, just they're not the team I thought they were.
I think everyone's having periods throughout the season like you think Fulham's are having you get them in and then they seem to...
And then they crumble.
Yeah. I think the big headache for me with the Bournemouth one that... have you got Dango? No?
I actually dodged. I dodged Dango and Clivert, and I've got Hewson, so it's an even sorrier state for me.
How long is he out for 3 games, is it? Or was it just the one?
Who, Hewson?
Yeah.
He's out.
I thought he got red carded.
No.
He was centre back that got red carded.
Zabani, that.
God.
Don't tell me that.
Just striking a bit of fear early doors.
I planned my old 29 around him.
But yeah, the Dango, especially after this Evan Nielsen starting in the FA Cup, scoring after 30 minutes, for me, it's the end of Dango.
And yeah, death to Dango, R.I.P. Loyal servant.
Yeah, he's brilliant for me. Absolutely, couldn't fault him. But
Evan Nielsen was good though before he left, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I always thought that there's a way for him to get back in. What about Brighton? What are you thinking about
them? Pedro back from the dead.
Oh.
He was a black hole for a long period of time.
He's gone through the ringer, hasn't he?
We've kept faith.
But he stayed with us at least.
At that price point, I know you take the rough with the smooth. I think everyone was we over expected with that.
I think because he did so well last year.
Yeah.
It sort of comes with the territory. But for me, it's more the other end of the pitch where I was sort of in the Verbruggen camp for a long period of time, and now I've jumped off him.
Lucky.
But what happened there is clearly went kaput, didn't it?
Yeah, Verbruggen, he'll get me a clean sheet and an assist when I least expect it, but then when, I don't know, it's just not. I'm taking the rough with the smooth with him. The thing with me, I hate making goalkeeper transfers. I think what I'm going to learn for next season is that I need to just a set and forget keeper, David Raya or someone like that all season. Play that little bit extra because I kept at the start rotating between when Fabianski got.
Fabianski's still in my team.
Yeah, he's still
in my team.
But I was chopping and changing between Verbruggen and Fabianski, and obviously picking the wrong one every week.
Yeah, standard. Curse the commentator. That.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Palace?
Can I just quickly say about Bournemouth's fixture run?
Oh yeah, go on.
So this is what I was saying about obviously Dango is no longer an option, but with the fixtures coming up, they've got Spurs away, which I don't think strike fears into many people. That's the worst out of the lot that's coming up. Brentford home, Ipswich home, West Ham away, Fulham home. The next 5. Play in 29.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest point in all that is they play in 29.
Yeah.
I think Clivert's slowly proving people wrong because I was very much, he's a flash in the pan, he's got a hat-trick of pens.
Yeah.
But now he's starting to sort of turn the dial and, assist from open play, score from open play. And I think of that was 5.5.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be considering him in your team.
100%, I agree.
Okay, should we move on to Palace?
Yeah, Palace Villa, 4-1 victory for Palace.
Yeah, I didn't see it come in, but I think, is that a sign in Villa that that's more of what's to come? Because they don't look like a good team.
I'm avoiding Villa. Obviously, we'll keep going back to it. They're blank in 29.
Yeah.
Their attacking options, who are you putting your hat on?
Well, I'm an owner of Watkins, and he got me an assist, which I can't moan about. But just looking at the defence is, I had Luca Digne at one point, and who played on Tuesday. We had Digne, Maatsen, and who the hell is Andre Garcia? Like,
no, it was that right. That right back he brought in for $4 million at the start of the year that was at Villa because Matty Cash was out. And
Nedeljkovic or whatever. Yeah, never played a minute. Brilliant. One of my masterclasses that was. But yeah, they're not very good, are they? And I think that the problem is we held Rodgers for so long because he was the
only one at that price point
and he just has it. I think. Well, we dropped him, and then what's he going to do?
Yeah,
score.
But did say that some owners got very lucky because they came on for Isak in that.
Yeah, well, Isak was just scared of EVD, wasn't he? So that aura strikes fear into the heart of people. Any standouts for you in Palace?
A standout.
I can see you smiling. I know what you're going to say.
Well, Sars finally returned after, I think the game week before he was something like predicted 0.01 as goal and assist. So naturally, we both started him this week.
Yeah, well, we were talking, weren't we, that FPL is one of those games where you've got to go with your gut.
Yeah.
And I think for both of us, it was one last throw of the dice for Sarr. But then I think the thing that no one should overlook is it was his birthday as well.
Yeah.
So naturally he's going to do something. He could have had a hat trick. Well, he was rampant.
The thing for me is that Villa, after this, they've looked shaky at the back. They've been conceding goals. The thing of the Champions League, I don't think many teams do adapt well to that, especially with the smaller squad size. They've just signed Disassi, or Disaster Class, as some of the Chelsea fans like to call him. Palace were always going to score for me, but I didn't expect Sarr to be.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to remember this game. Sometimes it's just about having a fun punt.
Yeah.
And that guy,
he's good to watch, isn't he? And he's so quick, and he can do something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Another player that I had in my team, and we won't go on to the Messiah yet, but Daniel Munoz, another return. I know they conceded, but another return in terms of an assist, and he's only had a 4-pointer, but that's so much better than a customary 2 or 1. And he looked a real firecracker. Like when they go forward, their wing backs are playing above their winger at some point.
I think that Munoz, I know it was a couple game weeks ago. In a stat, he was the furthest forward out of the whole Palace player. It's ridiculous and. They're based on a solid defence now at the Palace where they're free and the wing backs just like to go. Munoz. Going on about them defenders, we need to. I think when we're looking at buying defenders now, just look at these wing backs.
Yeah, I think it's you never really go for a centre half in your team anymore, do you? Although I've probably got 2 in my team. The I'd say low to mid price point wing backs are worth their weight in gold. Because any return from anyone in the 4 to 5 million range is you're rubbing your hands together. Do you wanna lead off again about the last player for Crystal Palace?
Yeah, Jean-Philippe Mateta.
What a man!
This guy, we love him, don't we?
Yeah. But what have we also never done?
We haven't owned him this season.
We're Crystal Palace blind.
But it was. The thing was, we didn't have him in our team at the start of the season because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Then the signing of Nketiah, I think all of them just accumulated. And then Palace didn't win for about the first 8 games or whatever. So I think we were just, and now we're like, just as we're about to get him in, he's just been kicked in the head and sent to A&E.
Yeah.
So
that was the noise on that, like, when people are trying to defend, there's he got the ball, like. He's literally nearly taken his head clean off.
Do you know what meant me? I was already certain it was a red card, but I did see on Twitter that Joey Barton thought it wasn't a red card.
Of course.
That's just confirmed for me that it's an absolute stinker. And they're on about that goalkeeper getting more than the free game ban.
Really? Yeah. Like a retrospective ban.
Which, has he done it on purpose? How do you get your 6'4" in your head?
It's getting the ball but knowing what's coming after it.
Yeah.
We've all played football and it's a free punt, isn't it? When someone's not looking.
Especially as a keeper, they're so protected.
Yeah, obviously Raz was a big hitter back in the day, so knows all about it.
I was like Dracula, scared of crosses.
Okay, Wolves versus Fulham.
Yes. So, the initial thought Wolves were back on, like, after the Liverpool game, thought, here we go. Like these look like a team that a good run of fixtures coming up. Thought they're back on it. But yeah, I didn't see. Did you see the 2-1 Fulham coming?
No. Well, the thing is for me, like, I'm celebrating now, and we'll go on to it in a bit. But Cunha blanking, brilliant. To say that he was on my radar would be an understatement. It was, just before that game week, the deadline, I was hovering over Watkins to Cunha.
Oh, I was the Pedro to Cunha.
Oh, were you? Yeah. And when he blanked, I was rubbing my hands together. But like when I looked at it, when I'm looking at him and Fulham are a good team. Yeah. Like they've had a real resurgence in form. They're more solid than they've ever been, and they look hard to break down. So I never really fancied him, and obviously it's also another plus point that Ait Nouri was spoken about largely on FPL Twitter, should we say, and he had a blank as well, so that was good. What about Fulham? Anyone you like from there?
Anyone I like? So touching on what you said about Fulham, all these players that are now performing are all ones that have like been dropped at higher clubs. So you've got your Smith Rose that didn't quite make it, your Adama Traore's that everyone thought was the next big thing, and so they're kind of a team of has-beens that are kind of merging into this really good team. And I think, like the Palace thing, I think we're quite blind on Fulham.
Yeah.
Although
I really like Leno as well. I used to love him when he was in goal for Arsenal. I don't know why they got rid of him, but he's a great keeper.
But yeah, the one down point was the Robinson benching.
Yeah, and I was also a beneficiary of that. And in another league, I had Calvin Bassey, and he was dropped as well. But then they have shipped a lot of goals, and I like that with a manager when he says to us, right, all you defenders, you're conceding too much. I'm going to change it out. I'm surprised Tim Ream now got a call it back in.
It's just keeping us on our toes, because.
Is it keeping us on our toes, or are we just scared to pick them now? Because
Robinson captained them for them in just then against Man U in the FA Cup. So it's like you've gone from and the thing that worries me is Sessegnon, come on,
and scores within 10 minutes.
So
Robinson benched, 18-minute cameo, and then a yellow as well.
Yeah,
it's not great. Not great.
But just going on to the Cunha situation, so he's just got another suspension. Like you said about a bullet dodge for a glove, I was looking again. Cunha was nailed on to Wolves fixtures: Everton at home, Southampton away, West Ham at home, Ipswich away. That's
phenomenal. Yeah.
That without Salah, I'm taking a punt on a captaincy there.
Yeah.
In some of them fixtures, I think, especially the Southampton one, but we'll come to that.
I don't think. Southampton, Christ, but no, I hear what you're saying. But again, it's with Cunha. He's only ever a game away from doing something really stupid. And
or something
what did he do? Yeah, exactly. When he took the guy's glasses off.
I felt sorry for that guy. He's literally chucked him up forward. He couldn't find him. He's like well off in between us in the sand.
Literally. Absolutely terrible.
But that's what he gives me that. I don't know if it's the Brazilian link, but Richarlison vibes. Like 1 minute he'll do something, and then the next is petulant and it's
streaky. That's what he is.
And it's his second ban as well. So we've got to remember that I think he's going to extend past the 3 games and go to 5.
Well, I remember when I was one of the ones when I heard about the ban, I transferred him out quick to avoid the drop, and then he stayed in for the game week, didn't he?
Yes, and I was the same then.
That was a pain in the bum. Should we move on from Wolves versus Fulham?
Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea Southampton to finish the Tuesday night fixtures. Pedro Neto and Nkunku, fantasy relevant?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling in my team. Say blank canvas. Mm-hmm. I don't think I still would. I think this is an anomaly. I think Southampton are awful.
But what do Chelsea do? They play in 29.
Yeah, but they play Arsenal.
Yeah, and they're shit as well.
Yeah, I just think I don't get hooked up on this. If I ran away with this game week, I've got Cucurella Hall and he's playing as a cam.
That is absolutely bananas. I was watching from behind the sofa because I knew some of the competitors in the mini league had him.
Yeah.
I knew you had him.
I had him since game week 10, and it's finally he does score goals, but just Chelsea are not great defensively.
No, I had Colwell for a while, and that was a rocky one.
But he also scored.
Yeah, exactly. There we are. So that's even worse for me as a manager.
No.
Elephant in the room though, cold Palmer.
Very cold at the moment.
In
Very
a 4-0 win, and the sitter he missed.
Yeah.
Like,
is that the one where people
the
say
one
you
where
should have
it's
passed it
really-
to him?
If you get into that position, that is.
It's a good save, but it's too close to him. It's like you said, but like in hindsight, I captained him. Would I change it against the worst team that I've seen in recent times in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Should have scored on another day. Scores a hat-trick. No one's talking about it.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like that's the pendulum swing of FPL. It's like you get on them while they're hot, you back them to do well against the crap teams, and then all of a sudden there's a 4-0. And I think it was Havertz when Arsenal won 7-0, and you would think he was going to get something, and he walked away with absolutely zippo.
Yeah, and the Mo Salah against Bournemouth for years.
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago. Won it like 9-1 or something, and Mo Salah's not even registered.
Yeah.
How times have changed it.
Yeah, I think he was like drinking tea on the side or something.
Yeah.
And then finally Southampton. I don't think we're wasting any breath in talking about them. They just look even poor for a side who've got like Derby County vibes.
Well, the 2 points off their record. Where are them 2 points coming from?
Yeah, true.
It's the same with all the promoted teams. That there was a stat in 2010. This is how the gap is just widening between the Championship and Premier League. In 2010, at this stage of the season, 90 points accumulated for the promoted teams. It's 45. It's half. Like the drop off is.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's down to financial fair play or what.
It is staggering, but like I also read some stats on Southampton and doing the prep for this. They play the long ball more than any team in the league, and I'm just going to say that's because they've got tall Paul up front. Onuachu.
Did he score at Forest?
Yeah, but he gave Liverpool the run around.
Yeah.
By the way. He was very good against Liverpool.
Where they got him from?
He came from. Oh no, they
Was
loaned
this a
him-
January
no,
signing?
Yeah, no, they had him, but they loaned him out to Fenerbahce or Besiktas, somewhere like that, and he's come back. So,
Moving on to the Wednesday night fixtures now. Brentford and Everton.
yeah. I think I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't want Everton to ever do well, but I think there's been a bit of a change since Moisey's come in. They look a lot more solid at the back, but also Beto seems to have found his goal scoring boots from, I don't know where he's found them from. Brentford, I feel like, can we have a moment to talk about Brian Mbuemo, or Mbuemo, however you pronounce it?
Brilliant asset.
He just scores all the time. And I think, I think we both at the same time, when he had that tough fixture run, hopped off him, and I think he's got better since.
Oh, yeah. I think I took him out and I think he just went nuclear.
Yeah, that, and which is, the story of our lives. But he looks great, and he's a bit like Roy of the Rovers in terms of he takes the pens, he takes the corners, he takes the free kicks. What's not to love? But I tell you who else is good? Johan Wissa. Brought him in 2 weeks ago, and he's 6 mil.
Yeah, probably got up to probably 6.1 now.
Yeah.
But like you say, at that price point, who do they play in 29?
They play Aston Villa. Oh no, that's 28. Sorry.
Is it Bournemouth? I want to say it's Bournemouth. I'm sure it's an okay fixture anyway. Wissa, he's fair play. But since Tony left, they've shared the goals around with the Wissa, you and Burmers. Even Shardy was chucking it.
He was. They play Bournemouth.
It is Bournemouth. Was that
away?
Which, like you said, with that Zabani, he's going out.
But I think Brentford are an underrated team, and I really like the stuff they play in. Another differential is Damsgaard.
Yes.
He's looked absolutely quality. And I think, it's more for Brentford owners. I know there was a couple in our league, well, maybe one who was around me, I won't name any names, Ben Sperry. Them conceding, Flecken and who's the defender? I can't remember his name. But them conceding, wiping out a cleanie, I was absolutely loving life. Everton, there's not really much to write home. Beto,
I own Beto, and
he has been.
The Brentford game was frustrating as he's missed 2 1-on-1s. But for what he's like, I think he's 29. Late blossomer. Like, could he keep? Like, he's only in there because of injuries.
Yeah, but I think he's done
He's
well.
took his chance, and there was a stat again when they played Palace. Apart from the defenders, which you expect to have touches, he had the most touches outside the defenders on the Everton team.
Yeah.
More touches than any midfielder. That's ridiculous.
Well, if you have a look at his, recent form.
Well, I brought him in before the Man U game.
Yeah. In the last 5 games, 13, 8, 8, 6 and 2.
For 4.9 million.
You
striker.
are taking that all day long.
Yeah, I'm taking it and running.
Okay, so moving on from them, let's go United Ipswich. One of them again. I feel like are United not dead in the water, but is there anything really to consider outside of Bruno? For me, no.
I would have considered, like I said before, we spoke with Ahmad. He was brilliant. That hat trick. Went to bed thinking I'm having a terrible game week here. Wake up, he scored a hat trick in 10 minutes or
88th minute and then 93rd minute hat trick.
But he was the only one at 5. But apart from that, I'm not looking at the defenders because Onana's bound to chuck one in there.
Yeah, he is terrible. Particularly bad as well.
For this formation, do the wing backs even get that high and get that?
They signed that Mazraoui now. He's just playing as a centre half, and he was going to play as a cam.
Yeah.
Not so long ago.
And that dog who just got sent off.
Yeah, God, that was possibly the worst challenge. He's even tapped the guy and thinking, God, yeah, like I've totally done this. Ipswich again. Philogene is not my lover, but he's a baller in a crap team.
Best of a bad bunch, like best of the bad promoted
Liam
teams.
Delap, customary yellow as well.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to pick him more, but for me he's one of those players that he scores, then people bring him in, then he does nothing but get a yellow card. You take him out and then he scores.
Yeah,
he's one of them.
I think he's one of them players. Like I say, when you own him,
yeah,
he doesn't do anything when.
And
you
then
don't
another enabler, Greavesy, with a solitary point. Not the one.
You know, at the start of the season when you're looking for them 4 millionaires, the 3.9s, and you think, oh, he's going to be great.
Oh, and he's got great hair as well. He looks $1 million.
The one thing I will say about Greaves, McKenna will not make centre-half substitutions.
Yeah.
So if he is on the bench, he'll stay on the bench. If he's not, obviously, he's been dropped from the squad, I think, and I think Rodgers came on for me 1 week because he got dropped.
Yeah. So, at least you know where you are when he's being dropped. He's not going to play.
He's third sub, he's rotting there until my wild card.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, true. Arsenal versus Forest. Now, Cleany is the great news all round. I never expected a Forest Cleany. But then again, no Saka, no striker, no shots.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of the times for Arsenal in terms of the title chase? What's your thoughts?
They're toothless. I've been I'm always against Saka.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, at the start of the season, I was backing Haaland, and they wouldn't allow me to get. You'd have to pick out the Palmer, so I wouldn't have Saka. And I always said, he'll always take over. But this season, before his injury, he did actually really hurt me because he was getting them hauls. Then
he's an uninteresting fantasy player in terms of. He's not particularly great to watch. I've said this outside of fantasy. He's a system player where he just does his job and he'll get a 5-pointer, a 6-pointer, a 7-pointer consistently. But he isn't streaky. He doesn't get you, 2 goals here and get you a double-digit haul. Although there's probably some stats to say otherwise.
But without him, I wouldn't be touching the Arsenal attack with her. So. Big shout out to Tom Starr.
Thomas Starr.
He brought in Moreno for 1 week after he scored.
Yeah.
And then took him out the week after.
Oh, so he didn't actually play this week?
No, but he did bring in Neto, which you said.
Okay,
but still, with Moreno, that was so knee-jerk. We're talking...
It's one of those ones, isn't it? When you come off the bench and if you're a midfielder going to play as a striker, you're an unknown quantity to them, aren't you? Yeah. And if you're getting on the end of stuff, it's probably more luck than judgment in terms of like, they're not expecting this. So, but I suppose it's one of those roll the dice picks, isn't it? Just have a go.
On the surface, you're thinking, a 6 million midfielder playing up front for the second best team in the league. Oh, look, you're rubbing your hands together, aren't you? And then when you strip it back, you've got no Saka, no Havertz.
When you're relying on a 4.6 in 1 year.
He's a 7-year-old kid. He's going to have flashes of brilliance, but he's not going to... And I just think... Even Moreno, after that Leicester game, he said, I don't know how to play there.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes.
But I think and again, Odegaard, he's rotting away in my team, and we'll go on to it, but where's this mazy dribbler and, you know, this assistant, you know, he ties it all together. He's just not there at the moment. And
I think he partners well up with Saka, doesn't he, on that
I
right-hand
looked
side.
at the returns and I've had him since Saka's injury, thinking, right, he'll step
Has he
in.
even got anything?
He'll be on pens, he takes corners, doesn't take corners anymore. He
Declan
is on
Rice,
pens,
isn't it?
Declan Rice. And yeah, he had 2 returns in 10, which at 8 mil.
Well, especially when we've just come from the last game talking about Brian and Burma,
Exactly.
and you've got your likes of Bruno, Bowen.
Yeah, Forest, nothing. I think they won this season that we're just blind to. You know, I think starting off in the season, they were really solid defensively. And I remember when Liverpool played them, I was properly shocked by the result they got. And even when we played them, and even when we played them the second time round, was a nervy outing. But this what's not to love though. Like, I think they're brilliant.
I think they've had their blip now.
Yeah.
They lost to, was it Newcastle 4-3? And game before that, I think they've had the blip. I think they're defensively back on track.
Milenkovic, what a steal he is. 4.8, I want to say he is. I've got Murillo, and he was my third sub on the bench, and there was no way I was going to play him. But like, seeing a clean, he's probably one of those ones that just hurts you when you have a look at your overall score. Apart from that, I don't think there's Chris Wood, a blank. But I feel like you're going to get that with a player of his ownership and his level. When he goes well, he does really well.
I think it got to that stage for me. I was late to the Chris Wood train, but I had to get him in because everyone had him. It's like
it's almost if you've done that.
It's the boring thing. Like, you're gonna, like, next week Southampton, you're gonna have to captain Salah just to wear it.
Or are you, Joseph, Mr. Put captain in Cole Palmer this week instead of going to Salah? Next game, so we've got Spurs versus Man City. We won't waste too much time on that. Spurs are nothing to write home about, are they? There's no real assets for them who I think are hugely valuable. Are we seeing the end of Son?
Yep.
I think so.
Straightforward. His legs are got. With that type of player, he's based on getting in behind, and he just he looks sluggish.
He's more just stealing a yard these days and whipping in.
It's like the same thing with another player that is on the opposite side. The Son, KDB.
Wow.
His legs are gone as well. It's just it's sad to see, but
these are like sort of, you know, when you think of the Premier League, in the last decade they've had a huge impact on, but it's that continuing a season too far. Whereas I think De Bruyne had offers from Saudi and even the MLS didn't need to go, and Son was linked with Fenerbahce, I want to say.
Possibly Mourinho, isn't it?
So they could have gone then and almost sacrificed, saved their legacy. Again, they're not doing too bad, but I think Man City, Haaland keeping his head above water, was unlucky to have that late one chalked off. But does anyone still own him? 15 mil?
No, but
you held on to it for a long time, didn't you?
It's kind of killed. It
ruins your template.
It did. Because at the time you didn't have these enablers in the midfield of Kluivert and your low end like that. And I only had Rodgers, and then I was scrapping around for, like, I think I had Declan Rice in my team at one point, which he did haul in one game, but I think Haaland's back.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Do you think
the wild card?
Even with the table tap to dominate?
Yes, get him in.
Oh, that's a Razzie hot take.
You've got to get him back. I will be, especially with your Saka, because you've got your Saka injury. I know he's coming back. Is it April time?
Yeah, April time.
Back. Cole Palmer's off the boil. Like the whole thing. I was more worried when I had Haaland and missing out on them players, but now who am I missing out on if I have Haaland?
Yeah,
really.
True.
There's no big defenders going big.
I just think my only thing with Haaland is he is a template wrecker. So if you need to transfer him out, you have to wait at least 3 game weeks so it aligns, so you can take him out and spread the funds. Which for templates in a team in a competitive league, 3 weeks is a long time to play strategy. You've got to be a bit more.
Let's put it this way: I had Haaland.
Did well.
Was not great in the league. Took him out. Had a surgeons. So obviously the natural thing for me to do to get him back, and then we'll shoot down that league again.
Absolutely. Okay, Newcastle versus Liverpool. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm obviously biased. Do you want to talk us through this one?
Yes, I do. I've just got wrote down, Salah is the king.
Yeah. The Egyptian. That's new levels. New levels.
Like, you know, on the eye, like, they have these debates all the time about the eye thing with who would you rather watch, like your Hazard and Salah, and but from an FPL standpoint, wow.
Oh, it's not even close from a... I get the eye test because Hazard was one of those players...
We don't need an FPL though, do we?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's one of those players that you go, amazing to watch, but you have a look at the end of his career, he's very much like a flair player who probably tailed off, although like supremely talented.
Well, Salah's never had that season where... Havertz had one goal in the season or something like that, and it's like... Salah's 12 points off his best ever total.
Yeah, it's frightening. But like, do you know what?
10 games to go.
Do you know what's scary? That the goal scoring was always part of the swashbuckling Klopp way of football, but it's the assists. He nearly had probably the best assist I've seen probably this year, where Luis Diaz.
Villa.
No, this game week against Newcastle with the outside of the foot, and Diaz just missed.
Yeah.
But he's looking frightening on the ball, and also another one that I've tipped: the rise of Szoboszlai. Like, that Liverpool midfield is giving me the same confidence as what Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum used to give me.
Yeah.
I think that they're going up and up.
That's Szoboszlai. He's becoming the Szoboszlai that we're seeing at Hungary in the Euro.
Yeah.
Like the
he's action man, isn't he, for Hungary?
Yeah.
Everything goes through him.
The link up with him and Salah's this danger to the league.
Yeah, Gravenberch as well. So I'd say he's, for me, arguably in the same level as importance to the team as Rodri is to Man City.
Yeah.
Everything goes through, and that turn out of trouble is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they're blank in 29.
Yes.
So
they've
what
got
are you
Southampton. Well, what am I doing? I've got Salah and Trent, and I can cope with the blank in 29. They're going to be benched.
So you leave them on.
Because are you really taking them out before Southampton game?
No.
This game week.
You'd be licking your lips. I've only got Salah, so I'm not too overly invested. But yeah, I think I'll probably be bringing someone in. I was a big fan of Konate as a cheap enabler, but it's more the...
He's a game away from having an injury.
Yeah, it's just a... Yeah, it's roulette.
It's roulette.
The last game then, we'll just cover Thursday. West Ham versus Leicester. Leicester, like the Van Nistelrooy effect, which is bloody lovely to say as being a Liverpool fan, but they're crap. Was it even worth them coming up?
I just don't get this. Like, every team now in the Premier League, bar Liverpool, who mix it up, they all try to play this Pep way, and I think you've got to realise, especially like we're talking about Leicester, what are you doing? Just, for me, Moyes was still available when they got Van Nistelrooy. Just go out, just pay him what he wants, right? Yeah. Get him set, he'll get him organised, he'll give him a fighting chance. If they, I'm not on, but I hate defensive, but teams like that you're going to have to be in. When you've got Vardy up top, you could always nick a goal.
Yeah, he always has one big chance in a game, doesn't he, Vardy?
He's still at his age, 37 is it? Or he's still got that little bit of pace.
Yeah.
Leicester, just target whoever's playing Leicester or Southampton.
I say Bowen goal, a Bowen pinball. So we got the assist. It was a goal ruled initially, which I wasn't really happy with. But then he was later given the assist for that goal. Vestergaard own goal.
It's not like FPL to give assists for something.
Raza's a victim of FPL assists. I think Cole Palmer's against Spurs. That one where he just crossed it in, was that right?
Yeah, let's just get into it. Let's just quickly cover it before we can move on, right?
Yeah.
So, for me in FPL, when a player takes a shot and it gets saved, they give him the assist, right? That player is not trying to pass to anyone, he's shooting, right? Like the Brian Mbeumo, we've both got him, fantastic. Yeah. He's hit the bar and it's, right? Mm-hmm. When a player crosses it and he gets a flick off like a defender, a faint touch, right? There is a faint touch, right? Who was that actually? That was that faint touch?
Oh, I don't know.
It might have been Brentford or something. I don't know. Anyway.
No, it was the... no, but I know the one. No, it was Forest, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Didn't Milenkovic just... basically the ball come into the box and he's flicked it on. And then
Rodgers, that was it. Rodgers put it in or something, right? And they don't get an assist but they're trying to cross the ball and assist. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I think it's when it's broken down to a shot on goal that's resulted in another chance. They go in, okay, knee-jerk, bang. Whereas with a cross, if a defender gets a head on it, they can't say it's like an accidental thing. Whereas if it ricochets off someone's shin, for example, they probably go, just give it. Move on with Then again, my boy Johan Wissa was wrongly not given an assist when he did have a touch because it was a coming together that spilled out to Fabio Carvalho. Okay, that's the fixtures rounded up. I think we've covered everything we needed to.
Oh, did you want to touch on the West Ham assets we're talking?
Yeah, we said, well, I think Bowen is the only one. Kudus looks good.
I owned Kudus last season and I like him.
But what has he done this year?
No, I grant it. Well, apart from having that fight with that, they got him a suspension. I think since the Arsenal game, we can see a Kudus.
He's always one that's simmering, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I feel that he's got to really get some points this season. Otherwise, he goes streaky like Matoma did. Remember when Matoma was, in everyone's team?
Yeah.
It's similar with Kudus. But I don't want him to transition into Adama Traore vibes where tumps of ability, but actual conversion from an FPL's perspective just doesn't hit the radar. Okay, should we move on to the mini league? Should we have a look?
Let's do it.
Right, so some league notes. Manager of the week is Jisco's Discos with an 88. Looking at his team, still got the assistant managership. Arnie Slot.
What week is it? Do we know which week he's on with that?
No, I think maybe probably the last, but 11 returns from 12 players, including the manager. You can't really fault that.
Solid week.
You can't fault that.
And it did take him above Eddie in Manager of the Month.
Exactly.
It pipped him.
Yeah, it pipped him.
I think Rodgers maybe coming off his bench did that, which as it happened to a nicer bloke.
And then the other side of the table, then we've got never gonna win. Paulie Bennett's team. Haaland, captain. Hall, can't fault that.
Great
I think Jacob Moder though was unlucky to not haul in the centre of the park. But that is because he's on loan at Feyenoord. So, Paulie, update your team if you're listening. But yeah,
just chuck your money down the drain.
Absolutely. How did you go this week?
Good. I had 68 points.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been 69, but FPL like to do this thing where a couple of days later they adjust the BAPs. So João Pedro lost a BAP.
Well, with bonus points, I had 70, and I got 69. Talk me through your team.
Palmer quite a lot. So my team. So Verbruggen had the 3-pointer. Like I said, it's either 3 points or 10 points with Verbruggen. Robertson 0, Cucurella 15, Trent 6, Salah 6.
I'll stop you there. Are you enjoying Trent being taken off once he's had a clean sheet, or are you feeling robbed that he could have more?
I enjoy it when they concede after he gets it off. Was it Wolves?
Yeah.
But no, I think he might be a sacrificial lamb when Haaland comes back in. Yeah. And I think I don't know how you feel as a Liverpool fan. I think they're expecting him to go.
Do you think they're managing his minutes for the Bradley sort of?
Well, Bradley's injured, but yeah, I think, and I really like Bradley. I think he could step up.
I think he's solid, and I was reading something that it's the only argument that Klopp and Linda's had was over Conor Bradley and loaning him out because they rate him so highly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
Sorry, yeah. Salah 6, Palmer 3 but 6 as captain.
Gotta hurt that.
Yeah, like I touched on it earlier. It's a wonderful thing, but I think that's the correct decision before the game week. I know you did different. We'll get on to that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, maybe if you didn't support Liverpool, you might not have gone that route.
Yeah. But looking at Salah's returns, why wouldn't you back?
I know. This is Ismail Assar 15, Brian Burma 5, João Pedro 8, and a 2-pointer for Beto and Wood, with the bench of Fabianski 0, Dango Atara, which I did have in my starting lineup until 5 minutes before the deadline, where I put Sarr in. So that was
congratulations, you on a great pick there, mate.
Timber was 6. That's the only downside. Maybe should have played him. And then Greavesy with 1.
Greavesy, nice.
Yeah, an overall rank of 320,000, lots of green arrows, heading in the right direction.
Nice. Do you want me to talk you through mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had 69. Pickford with 2. Again, one of those picks that when we had that run of fixtures, when he had a double, probably the hangover of that. So nothing to write home about there, but he does play in 29. Munoz, we spoke about him before, solid pick, and you've got to be liking his fixtures. I think their next game is Ipswich.
Yeah.
So although he doesn't play in 29, he's got Southampton straight after.
That's what we talked about targeting them
exactly,
teams.
you've got to leave it. I've got Hewson, good old Dean Hewson.
Oh, is this the one I thought got sent off?
Yeah. With a 1-pointer, which pretty crap, but again, plays in 29. Gabriel, Palmer, Salah, I got Salah too. I'm stuck with Odegaard, which at 8 points, which are 8 million to own, is a tough one. But then my front 3, Watkins, Pedro and Wissa. Watkins with 5, Pedro with 8 and Wissa with 9. Gave me a score of 69. So
I didn't know you weren't a Chris Wood owner.
No, I didn't get on him.
You've never had it?
No, I don't. Yes, sorry, I had him in the early days, and then he had a tough run of fixtures against. I think he had Liverpool and maybe Arsenal. Jumped off, and he continued his haul.
I think we've had players this season, haven't we, me and you, where like I haven't owned Isaac at all.
Yeah.
Which has hurt me, but yeah.
Well, I jumped off Isaac on the double for Watkins, but I did get an 18-pointer out of Watkins on one of them. So it's not all bad considered, but yeah. So I'm up to 3rd in the league and 150k overall. I think a talking point about the league is, did you know how many points there are between 5th and 9th?
I don't, but I'm hoping you tell me.
13. So I feel like there's a lot of...
Who is in the 5th position?
I don't know. I think he might be sat next to me.
I'm saying that like it's an amazing feat.
But I know it just goes to show how the level of of our league has increased every year.
Yeah.
And I think I'm playing a bit of a cat and mouse game with you, Ben Sperry. But equally, there's people breathing down your neck at every which way. And then I think it's also worth mentioning
the chips as well.
The top of the tree is Jordan Jones, where, if I'm honest,
no one's
overall rank 4,912. That is bananas.
Yeah.
So by hook or
by crook, if we ever want to get him on, maybe you could give us a few tips.
Yeah, like tell us who he follows on Twitter. Okay, so that's a review of our teams there. Anything else to say about the league?
No, nothing. No.
Yeah, I think
I will do a shout out to Jack Harvey. Not this game week, but the game week before, he did have the assistant manager chip on a certain Pereira of Wolves.
Oh yeah,
a 21-pointer.
Yeah,
that is an unbelievable.
And I think he did have a good streak up to them. I think he
took him above me for his 1 week. So I hope he's enjoyed that 1 week above me.
Don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about next week. How are you looking?
So, how am I looking? That's a good question. I think initially off the bat, I'm going to roll the transfer. Just so I got a little bit more leniency and going into 29. I've got 2 transfers then. But going into this game week, I'm really liking the look of my midfield. Palmer home to Leicester, Salah home to Southampton, captaincy, Sarr home to Ipswich, and Burma home to Villa. It's like, I'm happy with my team, barring any injuries, because there's Champions League.
I don't know about you, but I think even transfer strategy, when I see people go early with their transfers to avoid the price hits, I would much rather take a price hit and know who's coming into my team than
I get it.
Cunha, Mateta.
I get it earlier on in the season, a bit more, and not too much, but I get it if you're getting priced out and you really want someone, you run the risk, but when you've got this, I would not be touching this, your team, making a transfer till the Friday deadline. Because Gordon's just been suspended.
Yeah, exactly. Most transferred players in. 2 of them now are not playing. Mateta, Cunha, Munoz is also second most. But I just don't understand the logic of transferring someone in for 28 to take out to 29.
I think we've got the same view on this 29 business that, like, we all concentrate so like from game week 25 we've been concentrating on this 29, haven't we?
Yeah.
Whereas like and we kind of neglect the 4 weeks up into it.
Well, it's like those fixtures. You just like I've probably exposed myself massively in this on this pod but they play in 29.
Yeah.
Whereas you could probably gain ground in your mini leagues by focusing on players who play against maybe the newly promoted sides, but over the mean average probably will get you like 8 points against both of them, and then a 2 pointer in 29. Yeah. But are you confident enough to play? Will you have 11 in 29?
Yeah, I think I'll fly in. Like I said, I haven't got any Newcastle. I think there's quite a few that will struggle. Well, if they haven't planned well, they'll have Hall, Isak, probably Palace. So yeah, I think I planned relatively okay, and barring injuries, I should be fine.
Yeah. I wish I could say the same. I'm an owner of Minoz, Sarr, Salah, and Lewis Hall, and Watkins and Rodgers. So
7.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
So
You've got
I've
a bit of surgery.
I've got a bit of surgery to do.
Yeah.
But
Doable with these transfers.
Yeah, I've got transfers in the bank. I've already got 2, which I'm going to roll into 3, and then I'll get 4 starters out. So either I'll scrape over the line, or it might be a -4 to get an extra someone in, depending on what I've got.
You've got to weigh your -4s up, haven't you? It's like, is it?
I just think
the player you're bringing in gonna.
Well, exactly, and I think I'm not going to do
What
the
do you need,
knee
a 10-pointer really to make it worthwhile?
Yeah, and if you have a haul off one person, it means you can save someone else from a blank.
Yeah.
So if you had, the midfield I think I've got 3 of the same players you, Palmer, Salah, Sarr. You'd back your house on one of those 3 getting at least a return.
Yeah.
They're famous last words, by the way. But okay, so in terms of transferred out, Palmer top of the tree for players transferred out. I don't know if it's us, Raz, or if it's just either we know
Is
less.
that Paulie Bennett? Is that his one transfer of the season?
Jake and Moda.
Yeah. What? I mean, why are you taking Palmer out ahead of Leicester? I get it after, right? I'll be jumping off him. I will be. But you gotta give him Leicester.
Palmer, Isaac, Robinson, Wood, and Ahmad. It's nice to see people taking Ahmad.
So what's that? Isak's in the most transferred in.
Out.
Oh,
most transferred out.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry, I thought it was most transferred in as well.
Yeah. So
who else was the out? Sorry.
Palmer, Isak, Robinson, Fulham.
Chris Wood as well. Though,
Chris Wood as well plays in 29.
A really good fixture in 29.
Yeah, exactly. But have they got Man City? Have they got this week?
Yeah, can you bench it? Mind you, it's not the Man City of old.
They're not impenetrable like they were.
It's home to Man City at the City ground.
Yeah, well, they've had a lot of teams there this year, but I think and the key point for City is they're now going to aggressively move on from players, aren't they? So I think they said about John Stones, Gundo. As much as I love him, I think he's an FPL, not Hall of Famer, but like. No. He went on. Remember that run he went on where he was just.
And he was never priced above 7 million.
No,
really, was he?
Got a little soft spot for him. But again, bringing him back from Barca, just what was the point?
It was a cheap. I think it was just they needed a bit of cover, and it was the cheep option to do it. Really.
True, and he probably knows everything. But yeah, good bit of business then. Bold predictions. I've got one. We got any for this week?
Bold predictions for this week.
Do you want me to lead with mine?
Yeah, go on, go with yours.
I think United could do Arsenal. It's one of those games where
they're really bad.
They are really bad. But where Rat Features himself just gets on the end of something or buys a free kick, and I can just see it happening. And the way Arsenal are at the moment, even though Arsenal fans are remaining hopeful, there's something about them which I don't trust.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm going to start Gabriel regardless. I just feel like it's one of those fixtures that's on a knife edge where it shouldn't be. But again, it's like when Liverpool play United. Like they should batter them out of sight, but it doesn't happen too often, although we have done in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the bold, like seeing the fixtures. West Ham to beat Newcastle, is that bold? Not really.
Not really, but then I think the hangover now of them going out in the cup might change their fortunes around. Okay, so the next part is our FPL Roulette Hall of Fame. I think God, over the years we've had some absolute belters. I can remember being the owner of John Lundstrom. Oh,
yes.
What a time to be alive. Your man as well, Stuart Dallas. That was a great one. But who do you think this year enters the Hall of Fame?
Not, you know who I'd like just to tip it, like, you got your, like, what I'm loving is the likes of your older strikers, your Woods, your Welbecks, that are really starting to think it, but I want to put this guy in, we touched on him earlier.
I think I already know who you feed, yeah.
But we're putting him in for that double game week of last year.
Yes.
And we're doing it because we can.
Yeah.
It don't need to be this year.
Who is it, Raz?
It's Jean-Philippe Mateta. Boom, boom, Mateta in the room.
But I think it's when you look at a player, it's not just what they produce in fantasy, it's who they are.
He's aura.
He's got 8-foot legs.
Yeah.
And he tucks his shirt in.
Like Pro Club style.
But I remember when he first came to Crystal Palace, he used to have like dreads, tied up in and I swear, since he's got rid of those dreads, he's turned into like prime Drogba.
Well, you know when you talk about Barclays, and it was like Tarapt and stuff like that. If he was in that era, he would be the striker for the Barclays. And I think when we look back, if he stays in the Premier League, that's my bold take.
Club?
He's been in the 100 club. That's my bold take.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, we'll have to look.
He'll chase, if he stays in the Premier League, he'll chase down some famous names on that list.
Yeah,
like the likes of your Fowlers and stuff like that.
He can do it all though, can't he? He's and this season's proved that he can come short, go long.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise he's good at dribbling. I thought he was one of those sort of big, clumsy strikers who just sort of arrives in the box and nods people in the net with the ball. But
I thought that the signing of Nketiah I thought they'd share it, but he's took him to another level.
That was my reason for not signing him. And another reason for not signing him was, in hindsight, he did too well in the Olympics. So we didn't sign him, but lo and behold, he wasn't really firing too much at the start of the year, mind. But Palace were dreadful.
But yeah, he's there.
I thought Olasey was gonna be the sort of tipping point that when they lost him.
Yeah.
I think if they kept him, they're sort of challenging top 5, top 4.
Before they got rid of him, I bet on him for top 10. I thought it was nailed on. I thought the way they ended the season was fantastic, and he was the main guy. So yeah, if any Palace fans want to send us a Jean-Philippe Mateta
jersey of the week,
that'd be nice.
That's the first one. We did it, mate. Yeah. Thanks for watching along. I've had fun. And I don't know about you. I think we just got through it. There may be a few nerves. There may be a couple of ums and ahs. But this is, and I've done a big there. Brilliant. But this is built on just taking our conversations further than they have been to date. And I think, we just want to, any questions you've got, any feedback. We love giving people shout outs. And hopefully then we can get a couple of guest people on the pod, and take it from there. But yeah, I've been Nick, he's been Raz, and that's the end of it. See you later.
Have a good one, guys.
Ta-da.